performance with Net or with Leon was getting closer and closer, and that's why it was a pretty easy prediction at the end of the week.
All right, we're into the draft for Game 1 here, ladies and gentlemen. Snow Avalanche has actually banned away a Black Feather. This is something we saw a great deal of last week. It looks like Snow Avalanche is definitely giving it some respect.
Do you see how fast they picked that up? Avalanche are prepared today.
Lance? I think every team in ranked queue picks up Lance that fast on A side.
The Black Feather ban. This is a conscious targeted ban with the Lance first pick. They've taken Tetno's, 2 of Tetno's most played heroes away immediately off the bat. They're playing today.
This is interesting to see GankStars not go for the Celeste pick right away. We see them ban Kestrel, which is something they've done on the more usual side. Feel like getting rid of the Lance might have been a little bit smarter from GankStars Cerberus, just because Avalanche does put a decent bit of priority on this.
Can you refresh my memory? What was Waldemar's previous in-game name before he was known as Waldemar?
Best Celeste
EU. Be a pretty good time to bring the
Before
Celeste
that,
back,
it was
right?
Best Jewel EU too, I think. But
it would be a pretty good time to bring that Celeste back, though. I mean, she's in the meta. She's obviously strong. And dun 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 dun.
I mean, why not? You have Lance. Why not pick up Celeste and then round it out with Catherine?
Ooh! Avalanche, hi.
Yeah, I'm really.
Do you like this comp? I mean.
So I feel like
Feel
GankStars is making some draft errors here, simply just because while you can build a comp that beats what Snow Avalanche is running, it's all about the difficulty at which you're able to actually pull off the composition. And when the stakes are this high for GankStars, when they know this is the only series they need to win completely to secure themselves in a world spot, the pressure ends up even making it probably harder to execute at 100% because you're a little bit concerned, a little worried. You're like, okay, we just got to make it through this, got to make it through this. Vox, Samuel, Lyra, I'm not in love with it. If Lyra goes in, she's going to get stunned up and potentially deleted just immediately from the Celeste. But once again, the key to this comp, can they unite all of their stuns together? Because if they get split up, if they're a little bit off with their skill shots, then the comp can fall apart.
It can fall apart. I mean, any comp can fall apart. One of the problems I think Vox is going to have a hard time. He exists in that mid-range that Celeste can abuse with any sort of stun or lockdown. So this is going to be a great game. I'm hyped for this one.
I'm really looking forward to it as well. Can Snow Avalanche finally bring the heat here as we head into our final week of play in the Evil 8? They're up against GankStars Cerberus, a team who is currently at the top of the tables. Let's pass it on over to Dr. Sona and Tasty Bacon.
Thank you very much to our partially palatable presenters. Now, Tasty Bacon, I can feel the hate flowing through you towards our analysts, just because they're wrong again.
I already corrected them once, and clearly they weren't listening, but GankStars, even if they win this series, they have not guaranteed their spot in Worlds. They do still need at least one more point beyond this series in order to guarantee themselves
fast blocks!
Oh, Waldemar getting in his Waldekar pretty early here.
Oh, can we not do the World of Car memes, mate? Can we not do it? You know how much it tilts me.
The Humanists and I were the ones that started the Waldekar. Of course I'm going to bring it out here.
Okay, well, Snow Avalanche already 1-0 up. As Humanist said, they've come to party. Net2alert gets caught out with the Merciless Pursuit. Ashen looking for the stun, but just protecting his Elena here for a little bit of time. Voldemar, as they said in the analyst segment, used to be known as Best Celeste EU before he changed his name. Looking to live up to that name today.
Yeah, and for Snow Avalanche, we literally just saw their sister team, Snow Tsunami, win in very dominant fashion with this exact same composition. We know that those two teams do talk to each other, they scrim against each other, they share strategies quite a bit. So they clearly, this is just something that Snow as an organization has been working on and has really liked for a competition.
Now Avalanche just understand exactly what they want to do, and we've actually had the vote coming in here as well. Seems like all of you guys out there want GankStars to win this one. 81% to them, 19% towards Snow Avalanche. Now, obviously that vote was made mostly before that first blood came down, and a lot of people won't have known that Voldemar used to be known as Best Celeste EU as well.
Well, that's a lot of damage going down onto the GankStars jungle duo there. They will be able to get out alive. I think a lot of the vote does, as we mentioned in series number 1, kind of go off of the recent history where GankStars have now won the Evil 8 2 weeks in a row, whereas Snow Avalanche kind of essentially on the exact opposite end of the spectrum thus far this season, so I can definitely understand that move.
Snow Avalanche yet to actually win a game in the Evil 8 this split, so Irakizov will get caught out a little bit here. Gonna chase onto Voldemar, should take him out, not quite enough! Voldemar gets himself away from the action. We'll have to back away, we'll lose some CS to this, but Kentisik is very happy to come up and take that farm for himself.
And he's gonna be actually just looking to hold the lane for the most part, not actually really looking to take those minions away from Waldemar, but for now he's just gonna keep, again, focus on keeping those minions away from the turret so that Waldemar won't be losing too much, but he's gonna be taking a lot of damage as well.
Well, that's what you kind of expect, you know, he's probably going to be wanting to back pretty soon anyway, or find himself a Treant to sustain up. Techno JJ looking for a bit of a flank here. So now Avalanche do need to be cautious, because Voldemar hasn't hit any real spike yet on the Celeste, and Samuel still does a lot of damage, even though he was changed slightly in update 123. Good impale onto Techno, knocked back into the turret, and maybe it's GankStars Cerberus who need to be careful as they lose their second kill of the game.
And Bash still very low though, he's going to be still taking a lot of damage, but they are going to be able to escape. Netolette is low as well. Waldemar confusing. Bash is still sticking around. This is so
Impale!
risky.
Oh, this is so close! No, Avalanche.
Both teams know just how close they are. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that's the kill, but he does get caught up with the core collapse. Voldemar, there's the impale, but we're going to see the counter kill. GankStars Cerberus pick up 2. Voldemar did get the tree, and they're looking for the chase here. They need to be very cautious, because Voldemar will have all of that energy regeneration and can just come around here. All it takes is one good Helio, really, to take out Netolette or Iraqi. Won't be able to pick up either of those camps. Netolette heals himself up with the Imperial Sigil, and they'll both escape the jungle of Snow Avalanche.
Aggressive moves, not paying off for Snow Avalanche. I mean, they had plenty of opportunities to recall, but they didn't want to give up their jungle without a fight, and ended up giving up most of their jungle anyway, and 2 kills going over to GankStars, so definitely not working out the way that Snow was hoping.
Not at all. Techno will be the target here. Knocked into the wall is 6. Does have that Oblivion, but needs to get himself out of the action first. We're going to see Voldemar up towards the top side, just try and force Irakizor out a little bit here. 1 Helio. Irakizor very happy to Sonic Zoom his way away. And pretty even matchup thus far. A little bit of a gold lead starting to creep out here for GankStars Cerberus. It's almost 1,000 actually for them. A lot of that sitting on Techno, who's got about 13 CS over his lane opponent.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm happy to see from the side of Snow is actually, while they did pick up the Lance, they put it on to Kentusik in the jungle. I'm very happy to see them not running it on Bastion as a roamer. Not necessarily, I actually do kind of prefer Lance as a roamer, but I don't like seeing Bastion on that Lance. He has a very, very poor win rate with that hero. Going back to the Summer Live Championships, it was one of his most played heroes, and yet, like, I believe he had played it 5 or 6 times the Live Championships, only had a single win on it. It was not very good.
Voldemar gets taken out. The Oblivion was blocked up, but just caught out off towards the backline. Now Techno looking for Kentisik. Just needs one more shot, and he gets it. It's an ace early on for GankStars Cerberus. And the early upset that we thought may be on the cards has been turned around here by GankStars.
Maybe Snow Avalanche just needs to drop the Lance pick altogether, because, again, it has been one of their most common picks, and it has lost with them far, far, far more frequently than they have won with it. So I would like to see them adapt their draft to, phase this pick out of their draft priorities.
In all honesty, I understand the strengths of Lance, but his win rate isn't the best. I think week 1 of the Evil 8 here was about 20% or so. And I haven't actually got the stats for week 2 for last week yet, but it's not winning a huge amount of games. He can be very powerful when played correctly, but he isn't pick ban in my opinion. Irakizol caught out here. The Fountain heals him up. Kentisik now on the retreat. There's the wait for it, and Kentisik will fall. They'll turn their attentions over to Voldemar. Techno looking for the chase. Voldemar not going to be able to survive. It's a double Bastion, the last man standing here for Snow Avalanche. Able to get himself behind the turret, but not quite winter yet. It's still autumn, and GankStars Cerberus are very happy to melt the snow away.
And with the Broken Myth completed for Techno JJ, you can see just how hard that damage ramps up now. Iraqi Zoro has the breaking point as well. One last thing I want to touch on with that Lance is, I completely agree with you. While it does have a fairly low win rate, it feels like it's a personal pick. Like, there are certain individual players that seem to win with Lance and do phenomenal with it. And I think that heavily skews a lot of people's opinions of the Lance. It makes people start to think, oh, it's just this pick is so super strong, when really it's just those individuals with the hero. And there's a lot of individuals that on this hero just do not have that same level of performance.
Totally agree. He can scupper a team composition as well. You know, you look into something like Catherine Taka, a well-played lance into that can absolutely stop anything they want to do with good Githian walls and good impales as well. Kensik does miss the impale once again. It looks like Techno JJ is a little bit too far away for this fight to really start kicking off the GankStars. They have taken a 3,000 gold lead. Let's have a quick look across the builds before much more action goes out. Iraqi's going weapon power Vox. It looks like it's going to be breaking point into double Tyrant's monocle, or at least a single Tyrant's monocle for now. Iraqi does get caught out though. Kensik knocks him into the wall. There's the blast tremor. Fountain was used to heal up Iraqi's Zoro. Looking for the dive here. Techno needs to be a little bit cautious. He is tanking it up. There's the Solar Storm coming out as well, and Bodemar will take a kill for Snow Avalanche. Iraqi needs to start getting some damage down if they're going to win out this fight. Net gets away with the Arcane Passage, and here comes Iraqi, takes down Kentasik. Looking to Bodemar next as well. Net's going to catch out Bastion off towards the side. Supportal combat, wait for it, comes out. Bodemar just dodges it out. And now Iraqi will say, thank you very much for keeping Bastion alive for me, Net Toilette. I will take it from here, and picks up his 4th kill of the game.
And I love the confidence on the side of GankStars, especially on Iraqi Zoro. When he got caught with that impale from over the wall, he was chunked out so low, and yet his next move was still moving aggressively into the members of Snow Avalanche to look for more damage and look to continue that fight. Normally, when you take that much damage that quickly, your basic instinct is to just retreat, to try and back away and get out of that situation, but they have the confidence just to continue fighting.
That they do. Kentasik misses another impale, and that means he will get taken out again. Not having a good time on this lance at all. 0-5 has gone the tension bow build as well, which means you really need to be hitting that impale to get your damage down, to get all the procs you can. Of course, Githian wall will proc on hit effect as well, which allows you to try and get more damage down in that combo. But GankStars solidifying their lead, starting to take away jungle bit by bit, pushing Team Snow back further and further. And I mean, Humanists may have hope, but Snow's performances just haven't been consistent enough this split for me to see them, you know, having any impact on the world stage.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. Snow has always been a team that just shows up at live events, and that's going to be what they're going to have to rely on, because they have not looked good here, and they are still not looking good as they lose out on 2 members already.
Yeah, Bastion gonna get chased out off towards the side as well. Should be an easy kill for Techno as soon as that Malice and Verdict comes up. It's a triple for him. 7 and 2 on the Samuel. They gave up the Celestine draft to get this Samuel early on, and it's working out well for them.
There were questions about the GankStars draft strategy, but I'd say it has been working out quite well for them as they're getting towards the mid stages of the game, and they have a very late game oriented composition. There is 2 item power spikes for the Fox. There's going to be the one coming out for Techno JJ on Samuel as well as he finishes off the Eve of Harvest. And, well, I just really don't see much of a way for Snow to get back into this one at this point, unless they do that.
Yeah, they need to get a good engage, but they still haven't taken out Techno or Iraqi Zoro, and now they can turn the fight in their advantage. GankStars very happy just to step forward with a low HP. Only Bodemar left alive. Iraqi will go for the chase and will get taken out by Bodemar, who gets a good core collapse into Helio down. But Net says, thank you very much, I'll take the kill. And to support, it's always nice to get one where you can. And Techno and Net now just going to back away. Actually, looks like they might just push up this wave and see if they can get some damage onto this turret. But Kentasik back up means that they won't be able to get much.
That was such a good engagement from Snow Avalanche. Like, you dream about getting starts like that to a team fight. They just weren't able to actually finish anything off. It's so crushing to have a start like that, to see your opponent's health bars just drop instantly and then still get aced. Like, that is just absolutely devastating.
Definitely so, and you actually look at the builds. I mean, Techno's got Broken Myth Eve, but really, he's not a massive Samuel yet. He's in a very strong position, but not absolutely devastating with the triple CP items. Iraqi Zoro hasn't even got his 2nd time its monocle yet. They're miles ahead, but they've still got even further to build into, and really it's only Voldemar who you look at and say is equivalent to his opponent. He's got Eve, almost got his Broken Myth and a Frostburn as well. If he can get some good poke damage off early, perhaps they can win out a fight, but getting poke into a Samuel and not taking poke yourself is incredibly hard to do.
It really is. Samuel is just one of the kings of poke and harassment, I feel like, right now. Celeste is really one of the only ones that can rival it. However, it has just been enough healing in support. Iraqi's going very aggressive. He's just going to get dropped.
That he is. So much damage coming out. Bastion off towards the side. Techno needs to keep himself alive.
Did we lose out Dr. Sona there? I believe we may have lost Sona, so I'll pick up the reins, as that is going to be an ace for Snow Avalanche. They continued through, fight that one down, chase down the members of GankStars, and a big mistake coming out of Iraqi Zoro. He was completely caught out on his own, and I mean, you know, I said there's not really many chances for Snow Avalanche, but if they are given an opportunity, they will be able to find it, and that's exactly what just happened there. Iraqi Zoro kind of just handed them a kill on a platter, and from there they just took the 3-on-2 fight, and it got themselves an ace. They're going to steal away the jungle, get themselves some good gold back in their favor. It is still a deficit that they are facing of about 3,000 gold or so, but Iraqi Zoro did just finish off that second Tyrant's Monocle. As long as he doesn't get caught out like he just did, his damage will be insane. And so they do have to be wary of that on the side of Snow. Offensive items starting to get picked up by members of Snow Avalanche. But Gold Mine is going to be going over to GankStars. They're going to get the last gold payout of the game with just 40 seconds left until Kraken will spawn. Nettoilette, Techno JJ, and Iraqi Zoro are going to be grabbing a couple more items, get some infusions perhaps. There is one infusion running on Techno. Iraqi doesn't have the gold for one just yet, and Nettoilette is about to get there. We've got a weapon infusion for Kintusik on the side of Snow Avalanche. We'll see where this next fight is going to happen, because GankStars, they're positioned fairly aggressively in the jungle, going to be working on this minion mine. They are at risk of getting flanked, so they don't want that to happen, so they back off the minion mine and just make sure they keep position around the middle of this map when Kraken spawns. There comes the rest of the infusions for GankStars, and they found Bastion on his own. They're going to start this one up. Here comes the rest of Snow Avalanche. Kintusik getting right in the thick of things, trying to jump onto Iraqi, but Iraqi is stacking up. Waldemar throws up the Solar Storm, finds a kill, but he's too low, and it's going to be a double kill. Make that a triple kill for Techno JJ, an ace for GankStars Cerberus. They're not even going to worry about Kraken just yet. They want to push in with these minions, knowing that they don't have Iraqi Zoro with them to help take down the Kraken. They're just going to make sure that they get a turret after this, and they are going to get that turret. Third and final lane turret down in a few moments from these ace buff minions. That will give them a door into the Snow Avalanche base. Now they're going to go ahead and grab this minion mine as well, taking as much gold as possible as they rotate back again in towards the middle of the map. With Iraqi Zoro respawned, they will have, again, control over the Kraken pit area, and we'll see if they wait for Snow Avalanche to try and come contest, or if they just start up Kraken on their own. But here comes Snow Avalanche. They are going to, make sure they show themselves, make sure they say, you're not going to be able to get this Kraken for free. Nettoilette actually used the Bright Bulwark very early. Going to be a few seconds before that's available again. But Iraqi has found Waldemar and is just jumping onto him. Oblivion for good measure, but it isn't even needed. Bastion is now going to be a sacrificial lamb as they try and get Kintusik out just to avoid the ace. But Techno JJ and Iraqi, they are chasing onto him hard. He doesn't have that turret there. Githian Wall will stop the advance, but this is going to be Kraken for GankStars as Nettoilette starts this one up. Isn't going to be able to do a whole lot to Kraken on his own, but now that Iraqi is here, has this weapon power Vox to help with the damage. They are going to get the minion mine as well before Techno JJ rotates over to help finish this one off. Snow isn't going to be able to get here in time. They're just going to have to try and throw out that Solar Storm for a clutch steal, but GankStars, they pulled Kraken way out of the pit just to make sure that that Solar Storm would not hit. Yeah, I don't think it would have had enough damage on it regardless, but they are able to secure the Kraken for themselves. GankStars now looking very strong with this siege tool pushing down the lane with them. They could potentially look to close out this game.
That they could. Sorry about my little hiccup there. My internet was just so shocked that GankStars could lose a fight that it decided to quit on me. But it seems like GankStars have got back into it now and are looking to try and win this one out with a Kraken push. Still, perhaps a slight misplay from them in the mid-game. 5,000 gold their advantage, and they're looking for these crystal turrets. I'm glad you were here, Bacon, to document the action while I was away.
Yeah, they were able to find another ace and then get this Kraken after taking it down. Actually, they got 2 fights. 1 ace, 1 double kill, but this turret is just not long for the world.
Yeah, great Oblivion onto Voldemort off the backside as well, and here comes Irakizo looking for the kill, who will get rooted up and almost taken out. He survives, though, with the Imperial Sigil, keeps himself alive. It's a double for Irakizo, and they're going to dive onto Voldemort as well. Techno JJ looking for the kill. Voldemort will survive with the help of the Sanctuary, but that cannot be said for his Bane Crystals. That will fall, and GankStars Cerberus will go 1-0 up in this series.
They are now just 2 points away from securing themselves a spot at Worlds.
That they are. We're going to hand it over to the saucy and spicy analysts over on the desk. Action Jackson, Fuji, and Humanist. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Sona. Okay, so Avalanche, I think we can agree that they picked a very strong composition and then didn't play it very well.
No, they executed terribly. I mean, like, there really isn't even another way to describe it. We're seeing them do literally everything wrong with the composition that you could do. Celeste is in the front line numerous times. They split up numerous times. They overlapped stuns or went for impales first instead of Merciless Pursuit, guaranteed follow-up impales, guaranteed core collapse follow-ups. We didn't see it. It was like a team that had never played together before. Maybe they haven't played this composition before, and we saw the synergy just not happening. But it was so disappointing because I think
maybe
2 times
like
they
one
did it
person
right.
on their team thinks it's a really good comp, but they haven't practiced it that much. But here they are in a competitive setting. They're like, hey, let's go ahead and draft this up.
It should be pretty simple to pull off because you literally just have 2 tanky front lines. Vox can't get through that. Samuel can't get through it. Celeste stays behind. Spams the Helios, get the skill shots. But there were so many times where Weldemar was just off on his own, and Iraqi just chased him down and killed him. Yeah. Or he just went in front, and Catherine was like waiting for cooldown, so she backed up and let Celeste take all the damage. It was a very curious play out of them.
Even when they were in the right position to begin with, they split focus. They'd get 2 people really low, right? Just because of AoE damage from Celeste. And then they would focus on 2 different people. Like, both of the people that got low, your tanks would go this way, Celeste would go this way.
It's like a scatter shot. It was like, oh, he's low, and the whole team just went poof and just dispersed. Everyone ran in a different direction. Everyone's like, I tag you, you're it. Like, no, man, that's not how it works. Like, you shot call a target, and you finish off that target.
It's very much like, okay, are you ready? You have cooldowns, go. If you don't kill them, you reset position-wise back. You're in front of Celeste. You wait for the cooldowns. You re-engage. Like that. It's in and out like that. That didn't happen here.
We saw a couple of times where they played the comp effectively, and even with like an 8,000 gold deficit, they just wiped GankStars and aced them. But it only happened once or twice. It's got to happen every time in order to close out the game.
I mean, honestly, though, the real analysis, we could say, Fuji, going into Game 2, you miss that many combos, your opponents probably won't expect you to land them in Game 2.
You just do it again and land them this time instead? I mean, the thing is part of the challenge of any kind of combo composition is actually being able to land them, but what was the issue beyond that is simply just the shot calls. So even though like the combos were not always landing, you can still sometimes kind of scrap your way out of it by like seeing a good target focus, but the shot calls weren't there, the decision making wasn't there, the combos weren't there. I mean, GankStars is looking to take this series simply just because their opponents are playing under par.
Wow, that's a big deal. And Mouse are sitting here watching that. That can't feel good.
No, Mouse is like, come on, Avalanche, let's go.
You're best team in the world. What are you doing?
I did get an update from some of the guys behind the scenes that you probably won't be familiar with. Apparently, there is a scenario where Mouse Sports still win if GankStars win the series, but it's equally challenging to have happen, because what needs to happen is Mouse win against GankStars 2-0 in the semifinals, and then GankStars get 0 points and Mouse don't drop any other games.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like it's a stretch.
So Mouse are going to Worlds. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
Let's get back to this draft, though. Getting ahead of ourselves here. GankStars picking up the Lance quickly. Avalanche, they do get a Kestrel, something which has been banned out a lot this season.
Avalanche doesn't want Black Feather in the game, regardless of which side. They do take the Catherine away, so Cerberus can't run any cheeky double stun comps. It doesn't work for every team, as we've seen, but something that Avalanche doesn't want the potential counter into Kestrel either with the shield up.
Celeste's going to come out here.
There's the Celeste. We'll have to see if Iraqi's positioning can get them a win here with this pick.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I think that's...
I can do anything
we go
better
Arden
than you.
here? What do we plug in as the last pick for this?
Probably like a pedal or something. No, I'm kidding. Like here, it doesn't even really matter. You can do double frontline or double damage. It's more
They're
about
gonna
what
go.
Cerberus wants, like they feel comfortable on.
The deeps.
They want the double damage threat. I can respect that. Like in the past, when Cerberus has run the double protect Iraqi comps, it hasn't always worked out in their favor. They kind of like the idea of having at least some other potential damage source.
It also outranges that Kestrel a little bit. Like you can poke.
Oh, a lot of it. Yeah, I mean the Valis and Verdict, the Helios once Celeste hits level 8s. The Koshka into this is interesting. So with Koshka Catherine together is not perhaps the greatest combo, and able to just kind of support each other. And with Githian Wall, you can kind of keep Koshka out.
Yes, I agree with what you're saying. There will be moments you get into through the mid game where you're going to have to choose, what am I blocking? The Merciless Pursuit? Am I going to block this Blast Trimmer? A Yummy Catnip Frenzy's coming through. They're going to have to be really coordinated in that regard.
Yeah, that's definitely something to pay attention to. I'd like to see the Samuel make sure he stacks up some shield. I think he can actually just 1v1 Koshka at that point. It's going to be hard for her to take him down. But with no Arden, no Fortress, Koshka might be out on an island.
All right, GankStars Cerberus versus Snow Avalanche, Game 2. Cerberus, if they win this game, are looking great to make it to the World Championships. Avalanche still have the opportunity to shut them down if Mousesports plays well later on. Let's find out what's going to happen with Dr. Sona and Tasty Bacon.
Thank you very much, the flavoursome threesome that is our analyst. It's an exciting game as GankStars look to mostly secure their position at Worlds. Now, there's a lot of number crunching behind it, and it's not a definite, as they say, but it's very close to being a definite if they win this game out.
Yeah, they would if they win here, they only need one more point to guarantee that they make it to Worlds. Otherwise, Mousesports does have that shot to claim that spot. But Waldemar is going to get deleted.
What is going on in these games? Like, there's always a kill within the first, minute and 10 seconds when you and I cast.
I guess it's just players getting really aggressive, wanting to make plays happen, and knowing that they are on such a big stage.
That it is, and already Net Toilet and Techno going to go aggressive into the enemy jungle. Kensick does get onto Net Toilet here. Won't Githian ward them away, and Techno with the Drifting Dark actually doing a lot of work there, being able to help push them back. Now, let's have a talk about Roam Lance, because we said in the last couple of games that we think Lance is okay when someone really good at him plays him, and Net Toilet has been known for his Lance for a long time, basically since the hero came out. As I say that, he misses an impale on a jungle camp, which we're going to ignore that happened. We're going to ignore that. It's fine.
Well, hopefully the camera didn't have it on, and then people just have to go off your word on it, and they don't actually know if it happened, or if you were just trying to create a narrative for yourself. But right now, Iraqi
Zoro might get taken out, though. Hopefully the camera's looking at this. Kensick going for the dive, but Iraqi will get himself away. Here comes Net Toilet as well. They might actually look to try and put some damage back onto Bastion and Kensick here. We really need to be cautious, though, because Iraqi is sitting on quite low HP, and it will just be Net Toilet protecting here for his laner.
And both Net and Techno coming up into the lane. Waldemar
again getting caught out a little bit. Would have been his second death of the game if he did get taken out, but GankStars not quite able to capitalize on Net Toilet's aggressive nature.
Yeah, they were able to find a lot of damage, but not quite enough to secure the kill. Waldemar is actually going to get healed up quite a bit, takes another chunk from that impale, but here comes Bastion to try and answer.
Here comes Kensick as well, looking for the kill onto Net. He will be their target, and he will be the first GankStars member to fall in this game. 1-1, they've equalized the scores.
They are going to be making it 2 kills total here. in game number 2 of this series. Snow Avalanche, they want a win just to... I mean, if they don't win here, they've gone through an entire split without a single victory.
It's the ultimate long con, man. It's the
How
ultimate
can you
long
go
con.
from being the European champions, not have a roster change, and then not win a single game in a split? Like, that is... I think that would be the largest change in, results that we have ever seen in Vainglory.
It's literally the ultimate long con. They've just said, look, guys, we'll win Summer Lives, right? And then we will just, not win a single game after that. And then come to Worlds. And everyone will be like, oh, we're awful, we're awful. Snow Avalanche, easy win, easy win. And then you'll face up against Imperial Armada, or sorry, Phoenix Armada in the finals. And Druid will look you in the eyes. And Bastion will say, not today, Druid. Not today. This is my world title. And Voldemar will get in his Volder car and take them all to a Volder bar to spend their winnings on soft drinks afterwards as well.
Well, we'll have to see how exactly that will play out in about a month's time. But for now, I have a feeling that they do want to avoid the 0-point split. And they are moving in aggressively on the lane again, trying to just put pressure on.
That they are. Irakizo, it looks like he's building up towards a broken myth first on this Celeste. So going for that damage route. Petna will get the same. If they can get that spike at a similar time, they can do a huge amount of work into Snow. And this is something that a lot of teams at sort of the lower levels don't focus on. It's not all about personal item spikes or single player item spikes. It's about how well you coordinate them across your team. So what you'll see higher level teams doing is actually donating farm across to one of their members, or donating a little bit of a jungle to a laner, just to try and get them towards that item spike at the same time as the jungle.
Well, right now they're going to be trying to use those item spikes to get damage on, but everything pretty much hit Nets Toilette, and well, he's a big tanky Lance, isn't going to be too phased by it.
The strength of Lance, Githian Wall does give you a lot of extra protection as well, and they will be able just to keep themselves out of the battle for now. GankStars will be waiting for those first completed items before they really want too much of a Barney here against Snow Avalanche. Snow Avalanche, of course, well, both teams here actually with triple stun compositions if played properly. You've got Yummy Catnip Frenzy into Active Camo into Merciless Pursuit, or some variation thereof, or the Impale into Core Collapse into Oblivion as well. So you've got, although not stuns, definitely crowd control coming out from both these teams. Bastion will get caught up, Helio comes down and chunks him out to about half of his HP, but very even early game to start this one off.
Yeah, and you mentioned all the crowd control available on both sides. That's why there are early reflex blocks being prioritized, especially by GankStars, which is very, very important when you're up against a Koshka. Being able to block out that Yummy Cat and Frenzy can just really punish a Koshka for jumping in with that ultimate if a reflex block is available.
You need to be able to stop that suppression coming down. It can do so much work if it connects, and the great players will be able to shut that down before the cat even jumps in. Gonna start to see those broken mids coming down. Uekizo has his. Techno not quite there yet. But a little bit of gold away, and Snow Avalanche very happy just to continue to push up this lane. It is a aftershock on this Koshka. How effective do you feel that sort of on-hit Koshka is in the current meta?
Is it going to be an aftershock, though?
No, probably not.
It's going to be a Shatterglass.
It's going to be a Shatterglass.
Likely.
I don't know why I thought it was going to be an aftershock. I think I saw Eclipse Prism. It was just like, oh, sure, aftershock.
I thought the same thing, but then I was like, wait a second, but I don't see any cooldown.
That's why you're here, man. That's why you're here.
Yeah, most likely going to be a Shatterglass for the Koshka, and I used to be very heavily a proponent of Aftershock Koshka, but with the changes that have been made to her over time, she's gone much less from being jump in, burst, and stick around to now jump in, do your damage, and get out. And for that, you want to just have as much damage as you possibly can, which is why the Shatterglass has actually become one of the trends. One of the things that I've actually started building, which I actually got this one as an idea from Humanist over at the analyst desk.
It's not going to be a good idea. It's not going to be a good idea.
It actually is, surprisingly, perhaps. It works rather well, and that is going Shatterglass with a Stormguard banner. Like, you go Stormguard banner first, build into a Shatterglass, and then finish off the Storm Crown. And it actually works extremely well on the Koshka. Just really powers up that early game even more so. But that is not what we're going to be seeing here. It is straight into the Afterglass. So now I'm going to be curious as to where Contusik will go with this build from here.
I'm interested by it as well. He has got a second next crystal bit sitting in his inventory, so have to wonder where he's going to go. And I actually wonder as well, you know, Irakizar and Techno JJ, are we just going to see them go for conventional build paths here? Is it going to be Broken Myth into E for both of them, or is one of them going to pick up an early Frostburn to try and get those slows off and help Netwala out a little bit? I think, in all honesty, I wouldn't mind to see Irakizar perhaps going for a Frostburn early and let Techno JJ almost be a second front line with an Eve, because Samuel has, of course, so much sustained through the Drifting Dark, through the Malice and Verdict, and that Corrupted Genius as well.
Yeah, I actually agree with you completely. One shot, one kill here is going to come out. Just hits Iraqi, though, and so he's going to be fine. But yeah, I think that would actually work out very well for the side of GankStars. Just have that sort of pseudo double front line while still putting out a ton of damage, and then Iraqi just let those Helios be a constant slowing presence, as well as the damage coming out. Solar Storm going to get thrown, but nice job actually by Snow Avalanche to, I'm not sure if they anticipated it or if they saw it or what happened there, but they all split off, stopped damage on the gold mine, let the Solar Storm come through, and then resumed their damage on the gold mine. So nicely played there by Snow.
It definitely worked out somehow that it was coming across. I don't know if he was in range of minions or if he was spotted out, though. There weren't any scout traps or anything as far as I could see either, so just very good awareness from them.
Spider senses.
That it was probably going to come out. Yes, spider senses indeed. That's going to jump in, not going to be able to get that Giphy wall out. Kensik does still have the Yummy Catnip Frenzy if he wants to go in himself. The problem is it's going to be for him that you really need to burn those reflex boxes before Yummy Catnip Frenzy has much effect. You're going to be probably looking towards the Blast Tremor to do that, and if Blast Tremor comes out and it's not reflex blocked, then you have a free chance to jump in with the Yummy Catnip Frenzy anyway.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the keys, is waiting for those reflexes to not be available. Obviously, Netwala is going to be getting a Crucible as a second item here, because that is using the Crucible on the Blast Tremor will still then leave the two carries with a reflex block for themselves to block out that Yummy-Catnip Frenzy. And that's going to be absolutely crucial to these fights in the late game, will be if that ultimate gets blocked or not.
Oh, definitely. And no, Avalanche are waiting to get that combo off. They haven't shown quite the synergy that they did in Summer Live Championships, but they still have the opportunity here to take down one of the big boys. They can be Kingmaker or Kingbreaker, as they said on the analyst desk. If they beat out GankStars today, Mouse Sports have a very real opportunity, in all honesty, of winning it out, especially seeing Team Secret falling earlier on today.
Yeah, well, actually, regardless of what happens, Mouse Sports do need to make it to the finals.
Yeah.
Like, if they don't make it to the finals, then they cannot win that last spot at Worlds. But right now, looks like we have a little bit of a skirmish, but neither team really willing to fully commit to a fight just yet.
Netwala is taking a lot of poke before these fights as well. If he doesn't land a good impale early on, his retreat is marred by glimmer shots, by the damage coming out from the Koshka as well. You can just do a huge amount of work. Now, Snow Avalanche are still looking for this true engage. Bastion keeps running in with the Merciless Pursuit, but Techno and Iraqi are very happy to stand quite a long way back because they have the range advantage.
Yeah, they definitely do. The long range of Celeste. Here comes Solar Storm, going to take out Waldemar.
The dead Kestrel run over in his Volta car, as you would say. Cerberus now can start to push this one in. Steamroller coming out. GankStars Cerberus going to turn back around and take down the gold mine. Do needs to be a little bit cautious. Bastion could steal this away with the Blast Tremor. Kensik's probably not going to get too close to it. Bastion does need to be very cautious as to how he approaches. Tries to Merciless Pursuit around. There's the one shot, one kill. There's the Blast Tremor as well. Not going to be able to steal the gold mine, and this will go over to GankStars.
Really not sure why the one shot came out when it did. They should have had vision of the gold mine with that scout trap that just got popped, and so I feel like Waldemar would have known that the gold mine wasn't actually all that close to going down when he fired off that ult, but maybe it was just outside the range of vision provided from the scout trap. Like, they could see that it was being done, but couldn't actually see the health of it. That would actually be my most likely guess, but very early one shot to try and steal that out does not happen.
Sometimes it's not about getting a kill, it's about sending a message, and the message is not quite sure how to time this one shot, one kill to take away the gold mine. Waldemar called out once again, and is going to fall, just overextends into GankStars, and they will take him down. GankStars starting to get a little bit of a stranglehold on this game, pushing Snow Avalanche back at every turn.
Bastion just grabbed a Storm Crown. Now, Typically, when you're behind and you pick up a Storm Crown, it's because you just don't feel like your teammates are doing enough damage. And so that's a bit of a worrying sign here, perhaps, for Bastion to be going down that itemization when they could still very much use a lot more shield on the side of Snow. So, interesting to see that picked up.
Definitely interesting to see. Something we wouldn't usually see at this sort of point now. Kensik is pushed up once again. Good thinking will knock Bastion back. I've yet to see Kensik actually use his yummy catnip frenzy. I may have missed it in a fight, but I feel he's holding the trigger quite a lot of the time, just not going in. And he could just be perhaps being a little bit more aggressive. There he goes. There's the Crucible. Blast Tremor comes out as well. Mistimed. Net2elect will be the target here. GankStars are going to turn this one around, though. The Solar Storm comes out. Fountain used to heal them up. Techno looking for the fight, but will get taken out first. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Kensik, the new target here for GankStars. They will turn their attentions away for now. Just about surviving the damage coming out here from Snow Avalanche.
Bash is going to try and chase. I don't know if he really wants this, though, as he does think better of it. Kentusik still low as well. They do have to be careful. This Treant is going to go over. Iraqi's going to pick that up, get that little bit of regen. And I just don't know if they're going to actually want this.
Missed Impale from Net2elect will mean that he won't be able to chase anything out. Kensik does look to be going towards a Broken Myth as his second item completed crystal power-wise on this Koshka. How do you feel about that? Because I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to stack that up in fights, the way fights are going at the moment.
The way fights are going, he's not really going to be able to stack it up much, but having that Pierce is actually going to be very important for him because there is a good amount of shield being built on the side of GankStars. Actually, far more shield than there is armor. There's only a single armor item, and that belongs to Net2elect right now. So it's mostly just to try and deal with the shield, I believe, at this point.
Makes sense. Techno JJ did get caught out slightly there by Bash, and Net goes low once again. Kensik jumps in, takes a huge amount of hurt as Iraqi Zora and Techno JJ turn their eyes straight on towards that Koshka. Active camo on Techno. Here comes Koshka once again. Kensik from the side. There's the one-shot, one kill. Iraqi Zora takes it up. There's no fountain left here for GankStars Cerberus, nor for Bastion and the side of Snow Avalanche either. Voldemar doing actually a very good job of dodging around these Helios and keeping himself pretty healthy in these fights.
Lots of reflex blocks available as well, so Kentusik just hasn't really been able to find an opportunity to go in. However, for now, they're just going to continue to try and get as much damage and pressure as they can, but these Helios from Iraqi are doing such a good job of keeping Snow Avalanche at bay.
That they are. Bastion once again stepping forward. We actually see Techno JJ leaving the lane for a little bit. Kensik will tank up a single tower shot, and he will be able to get himself out of the action. This damage from Koshka is very real at the moment for GankStars Cerberus. They need to work out a way to deal with it. At the moment, their way is Aegis. Iraqi has one, so does Techno JJ. Of course, Net2elect with the Fountain will have a bit of shield in his back pocket as well, but it's such a close game for 16 minutes in. Only 4 kills to 2. Felt like there's been action for a lot of the game, but neither team really being able to actually solidify kills or objectives out of it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of damage trading, but just not really enough committal to a fight because really everyone's been getting dropped low in these damage trades that have been happening. So both sides kind of being like, well, if we commit to this, we may not get the kill, and then if we give a kill over, it's just going to give a large advantage to their opponents. You look at the gold, even the gold very even. It's actually a slight advantage for Snow at the moment, sitting at just about 400 or 500 gold in the lead. But that is essentially a non-factor in Vainglory when you're talking about team gold. 500 gold split amongst 3 members. You're not going to be able to really buy anything with that. So we'll see if these next fights can be very important with Waldemar taking a lot of damage before it even starts.
I wonder if this is the point that GankStars start winning it out. You know, Samuel and Celeste, Crystal Power, have so much poke late game. You can do so much work if you're hitting a Helio, if you're hitting a Malice and Verdict. Bastion trying to be the front line for his team. Voldemar coming in from the side. Not going to be able to land that Glimmer. There's the Solar Storm, though. Only connects with a couple of those stars. And now, GankStars Cerberus needs to be a little bit cautious. Oblivion. There's the Crucible used as well. Actually, I think it's just a reflex block being used there. And there is the one-shot, one kill onto Iraqi Zora. Fountain did come out from Snow Avalanche as well to keep Voldemar healthy. Iraqi needs to be very cautious. Low on energy here. He will have to back away pretty soon if he wants to get any more Helios down.
Have lots of low health bars, but again, unable to commit to the fight, try and chase down those kills, not wanting to go underneath the turret. I feel like it's a very wise decision to not go and try and commit to those kills, but they are not going to be able to find really much off of this either. They do take away that forward treant, and every little advantage you can get in a game that is this close, you need to find as much, small little amounts of gold that you can take away from your opponents. Netwillet is going to be caught out a bit here, though.
That he is. He needs to get away. The rest of the team coming down to try and save the day, but they just can't do it. Double Helios land the Supernova onto Bastion and Kensik, and that is the alarm bell for Snow. They want to take this Kraken down. They want to capture it incredibly quickly. Irakizoi with a Helio not going to be able to take it away, and the Kraken will fall. Snow Avalanche looking for the push with this now.
Yeah, that was a great call there to start up the Kraken. After they got the kill, obviously they know Techno, JJ, and Iraqi, the way this game's been going, getting that non-committal, they're not going to go jumping on in. They're not going to be eager to be diving into the 3 members of Snow Avalanche to try and stop this Kraken. So they let Kraken go over and decide to just try and deal with it as it pushes in. First turret's going to get destroyed very, very quickly. See how much more they can get out of this. Lots of damage on the Techno. Both reflex blocks, actually only one reflex block available as Iraqi did use his, but there's no Contusik at all. Turret is going to go down.
Here he comes onto Techno, looking for the kill. Bastion there as well. They take a lot of damage before that turret fell. They're should be able to take this Kraken out before it gets the next turret. Last time used by Bastion to try and force them out, and they will actually get a 3-turret push out of the Kraken. That's a huge gold swing. 3,000 the change. Back down to 2,000 now, or 1,900 if you want to be precise. It's very, very close between these two teams. All it takes is a good fight from GankStars, and they can turn this one right back on its head.
Yeah, that was a great push for Snow. Not only was it 3 turrets, it's the 3 lane turrets, which are each worth 300 gold per player. So 900 gold just went into the pockets of everyone on the side of Snow Avalanche as a result of that push. Great job from them to just recognize the situation and take advantage of the fact that this has been a fairly passive game when it comes to the team fights.
Incredibly passive game. I mean, there's been skirmishes here and there, but never really seeing much come out of it. Netwillet hasn't been quite on point with his impales a lot of the time. Going in, not being able to land them means that Snow Avalanche have been able to turn around the fight. Kensic's going to jump in. Voldemort gets the flank off as well. There's the Oblivion. Kensik is caught up in it. A great core collapse as well. There's the Solar Storm, and Kensik will fall. Irakizora off towards the side, trying to catch out Voldemort. Hits him with a Helio. And there's the Impale as well. This should be Voldemort going down, as Techno JJ will help Irakizora take him out. Bastion, the last man standing, but it's going to be an ace for GankStars Cerberus, as once again the game turns on a pip.
And now let's see how much GankStars can get off of this. There isn't a Kraken for them to take, but with these ace buff minions and the fact that we're 21 minutes into this game, these turrets are going to go down unbelievably quickly. They've already got 1.5. They're going to get 2 well before anyone from the side of Snow respawns, and now they decide to duck down into the jungle and just take what they can here.
Take away the minion mine, take away a couple of those treants if you can. It's a lot of gold on some of these minions actually because of how long they've been around, so should be able to get quite a bit out of it. And then we'll just be able to clear out some vision as well. GankStars Cerberus doing a good job of getting back into this game, but Snow Avalanche is still in a prime position. Still a turret up, only just behind on gold. Have a quick look across item spikes as they do start to be caught by those things. The Akibar is actually sitting on 1,700 gold. And hasn't bought up with it, has another piercing shard in his inventory, so maybe actually looking towards that double broken myth build that we very, very rarely see.
Yeah, it very likely will be, and I'm actually okay with it here because with double crystal, there's a lot of shield being built. Contusik actually has a second fountain for the team, so you do want to get as much pierce as you can if you're on the side that is running this double crystal. So I actually like the double broken myth. There's going to be the Oblivion not connecting. This is going to be the fight starting though.
Might be. GankStars Cerberus not quite ready to take it yet. They're a little bit apprehensive. Not 100% sure as to how aggressive they want to go, and it looks like for now they're not going to go aggressive at all.
I'm just still very much surprised at the fact that there's really no armor on the side of GankStars this late into the game against a weapon Kestrel. It just kind of shows like they haven't been too worried about Waldemar.
Oh, Netwillet will get stunned up though. They have to be worried about him going down. Voldemort getting the glimmers off towards the side. They're relying on Irakizora hitting those Helios where he can. Actually looks like they're just going to disengage. War Treads, Bouncing, and Crucible still up for Net Toilette. He has got an Atlas as well, alongside a Metal Jacket. So, GankStars has a huge amount of armor just on Net Toilette. But as you say, Rakizora has none. There's only a Coda Plate sitting on Techno JJ now as well. So, they're not in the most armorific position that they might be. Net Toilette's going to jump in, boots up Bastion. Here comes Kentasik looking for the re-engage. Now, Avalanche just aren't pulling the trigger. I feel they need to be a little bit more aggressive with their plays, and perhaps that's what Bastion wants to do as he runs in. Will get caught out with a core collapse, and Bastion's dead. No escape for the Wicked today. Bastion will fall, impale onto Kentasik, knocked into the wall as well. Here's the Oblivion. Voldemar and Kentasik healed up by the Fountain, of course, on that Koshka. Irakizora almost goes out, but a good core collapse into Solar Storm will take him out. The Minion Mine helping out ever so slightly off towards the side there. Will mean that Irakizora falls. Techno JJ and Net Toilette alive against Kentasik.
And right now, GankStars, despite the fact that they won that fight, like their whole plan at the moment seems to be to have Net Toilette just be this huge front wall that GankStars can't get past. The problem I have with this strategy against the composition that is being run by Snow is, you know, Kentasik can just jump into the middle of the fight and get onto whoever he wants to if he really needs to. Waldemar can pop an active camo and reposition himself to get around that front wall. So they're putting like everything into the basket of having Net Toilette be this huge tank in the front, and there's options for Snow Avalanche to avoid that front line altogether. Thankfully for the side of GankStars, that really hasn't been capitalized on at all by Snow, but it is definitely a possibility, and I'm actually rather surprised hasn't been taken advantage of.
I totally agree with you. And you look at GankStar Service build now as well. They've got double Broken Myth on both of their carries. So Techno's just gone Broken Myth, Eve. That's all I need. A little bit of sustain and a lot of CP. Irakizo gone for that Frostburn in there as well, negating one defensive item. He hasn't got any armor, so if he is called out by Voldemar, he will get absolutely shredded. And that would be a great way to cripple the team as well. You know, you take out that long range of the Celeste, who is one of the prime carries for you with those Helios, and you can actually negate a huge amount of the damage coming out from GankStar Cerberus.
Absolutely can, but I mean, Waldemar just hasn't really found the option, the ability to get through onto the back lines like that. Kraken is going to be started up by GankStars once again. They have so much burst that this Kraken is going down very, very quickly. Snow, they're not going to be able to get here in time. One shot gets blocked.
He gets Bastion! No, he gets stunned up with the Impale. Almost takes it with the Blast Tremor. They might look for a fight straight away. There's the Yummy Captain Frenzy. Irakizora will dodge it out with the Reflex. And the damage coming down onto Bastion now. He retreats off towards the side. Voldemar looking for the flank. Not going to be able to get it, and Bastion and Snow Avalanche just have to get away from this one, but the Solar Storm says not quite yet. Impale onto Kentasik, 3-man stun with the active camo. Kentasik trying to run his way away, but just no escape for him today. Voldemar should be able to take out Net Toilette in the 1v1. Impale doesn't connect. Here's Techno JJ trying to fight up against the Voldemar, doing a lot of work. Bastion caught up in the core collapse, and Iraqi will take him out. Voldemar takes out Irakizora in just a massive burst of damage. But Net Toilette and Techno JJ keep themselves alive with Kraken pushing in. This has to be the game for GankStars Cerberus.
Absolutely will be the game. We're 26 minutes in, so these death timers are massive. No one from Snow is going to be able to respawn in time. And just, again, the composition, it was such a passive game, really all throughout, up until the last 2-3 minutes or so, when there were finally some all-engaged team fights. But for the vast majority, very, very passive. Snow was just never really able to get the engagements that they were looking for.
Not at all. They were incredibly passive, and I have to say, Kentasik needed to sort of pull the trigger perhaps slightly quicker on that Yummy Catnip Frenzy.
I think we only saw, what, 2 or 3?
Yeah, that was it. And it was like, he was level 12 before I saw the first one. I don't know if I missed one, but it was so long into the game before you actually went for it. And that is always the risk with Koshka, because you say, oh, we know they got Reflex Block, we know they got Crucible, let's wait until we burn it. But sometimes you just have to use it to burn it and then have the Blast Tremor as your follow-up. We're going to hand it back across towards